Hello. Today I want to talk about the answer and really settling into the idea that the answer will come and the answer will find you. I want to start off with a little anecdote because that's kind of where I got the inspiration for this video. Yesterday I sat down, it was my day off, so I was like, I'm going to film a YouTube video. And I woke up really just not feeling great. I had a really heavy, kind of dense feeling in my body. And when I sat down to record, what ended up coming out was good. It was just sort of like me talking to myself. And that's an element of finding the answer. But I was sitting there thinking, like, I don't really know, one, what I'm talking about, but also, like, why I'm feeling so, like, dense in my body. Why I was feeling this sense of like inadequacy or just like not feeling up to it, right? And so I finished the video and then I went about my day, and I actually ended up doing some yoga and drinking water and like sitting in the sun, and the answer came. And I think that that seems to definitely be something that, like, it definitely recurs in my life. And there are many, many times where I find myself wondering, like, what am I doing? What am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? And really at a loss for, like, what is going on in my body, in myself. And as I was doing yoga and as I was letting the emotions, like, come through, letting the feelings in my body dissipate by the yoga that I was doing, that prompted me to film this. It prompted me to say, the answer does come. Because in those moments when I was sitting and meditating, when I was stretching my body, the feeling was able to move through me. The feeling was able to not just go nowhere and not just like sit in my mind or sit in my chest or whatever, right? And I think that this happens for the reason of, despite the feeling, despite the seeming stuckness, the seeming inability to move through an emotion, to move through a time in life, to move through like procrastination or artist block or writer's block, whatever it is, the answer does come. And it doesn't take 20 minutes like it took for me. It doesn't take like an hour all the time. It doesn't take days sometimes. Sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it takes months. It's just about giving yourself the space, giving yourself the permission to have feelings of stuckness and to have feelings of untransmuted energy in order to transform it into something else when the time is right. And there's no real way of us knowing when exactly the time is right, but it does come. The answer will come. The answer does come because it kind of has to, you know? Like, your body and your mind can fight, or they can be cohesive and they can work together to bring you closer to your goals, bring you closer to the lifestyle that you want. And it's just a matter of allowing yourself the time and the energy and the space to be still in stillness or stuckness or stagnancy. That is a really uncomfortable thing. And that is a really kind of journey that a lot of us take, whether that is in the form of like small, small feelings like how I was feeling yesterday morning, or if it's years long, like I have also experienced years long stagnancy in the same place, feeling like there's no way out or there's no end in sight. Some people call that the dark night of the soul. Some people call that just shadowy space, a dark space, depression, whatever. But I think what it really is it's a means of using energy the way that it's meant to be used. If you are expecting yourself to be at 100% every single day, meaning 100% of your capacity, not just your best, right? Just 100% every day, 100% of your capacity, isn't it only logical that you're gonna burn out for equal or longer amount of time to recuperate that energy? Isn't it reasonable to say that if you're expecting yourself to put out like a master class art piece, that you're like the next day you're not going to feel very energetic? Like, isn't that kind of reasonable, right? And so I feel like once you allow yourself to have the emotion or have the feeling and give yourself the permission to sit with that feeling of stillness, to sit with that feeling of stagnancy, to try to move it, right? By like moving your body, by going outside, by feeling the sun, by drinking water, taking care of your body, it's only natural that that feeling begins to have a space to move around and to exit you, or to transmute into something else, or to become energy for another project. And that's it. That's it. So ask yourself, the next time that you're feeling really stuck, ask yourself, just how much have you actually been working? And can you put it in perspective for yourself of, maybe I need this to survive. Maybe I need this stagnancy. Maybe I need this stuckness to move something through my vessel, to move through my consciousness, to move through whatever, right? And I feel like this can kind of be interpreted in the wrong way, because something that I experienced very, very, very strongly, very, very much for a very long part of my life was survival mode from like, what's the word? It's like formative years to now to another period of formative years. It's like this huge area of my life where I had zero energy. I had no ability to create for the sake of creating. Like, I was just creating for a grade, or I was creating for like, it's not for the sake of creating. And that put me into a state where I needed to conserve all of my energy, because all of it was being spent on things that I didn't care about, or things that kept me safe, literally. And as I've been coming out of it, and as I'm now feel like I am out of it, I feel like I can reflect on the last 4 years of my life being restful because I needed to rest from the previous 10 years, right? And I kind of can't believe it's taken me this long to like realize that, but in a greater sense, it is really freeing and really like weight lifting off of my shoulders feeling-esque to think that just because I wasn't outwardly productive in the last few years of my life, just because I wasn't like going off and like doing the stuff that I want to do and like building the life that I want to have, doesn't mean that those years were for nothing. It doesn't mean that the last few years of my life were spent wasted. It doesn't mean that I procrastinated. It doesn't mean that I was lazy. It means that I was fighting so hard that the moment that I was able to take a break, I had to, and I crashed, and I really like melted into this sensation and this era of rest. And now I think that rest is a really, really important part. It's an equally important part as creation, as manifestation, or just integration, right? Of energy consumption. It is as important because it is the inverse of what that is. If I can't rest, I can't produce. And if I can't produce without rest, there's no point in the production, because what am I producing? What quality is it? Is it important enough for me to sacrifice myself? No, it's not. Because at the end of the day, it's night. At the end of the day, I have no choice but to come back to this vessel, to come back, to be in this vessel through production, through rest, through creativity, through productivity, through whatever. And none of the creationary things, none of the creations can have much meaning if I don't place value in integrating the lesson of creation. And integrating happens through rest. Integrating happens through allowing, through stillness, through stagnancy, if you want to say that. And that stagnancy protected me in a way that I didn't understand survival. Like, I didn't understand was like inverse to how survival protected me. And I seriously hope you get there too. It isn't a good thing to work your ass off until you just like come home and you have no energy to do anything. And I personally think that the whole like 9 to 5, 2 days off like model is flawed, because people that criticize this are right. What life do you have if your life is work and then recuperate and then live on those 2 days off? Like what life is that? It's just not. And then even like preparing to work on those 2 days off. So my point, rest is important. You will find the answer. The answer will come, because the answer needs time to go through a period of it's sort of like a butterfly. It's like, okay, I'm trying to remember the life stages of a butterfly, but it starts off as a little seed, a little egg, an idea. The idea transforms, it has time to hatch, and it turns into potential, and the potential is the caterpillar. The caterpillar consumes, the caterpillar prepares to go into it spends all of its life trying to transform into this like completely opposite thing that is what it is right now, the butterfly. It transforms into the butterfly opposite from what it is now, a caterpillar. And in the chrysalis, it is resting. First of all, it literally turns to goo, which is another, like, a whole other thing. But that goo is like stagnation. That goo is like rotting in your bed, where your body finally has time to rest. And now, productive rest does not incorporate like mental stimulation. So productive rest should also come with mental rest, and mental rest is not scrolling. Mental rest is not, brain rot. But you have to give yourself the time to spend equal or more time in a vegetative state, in a goo state, so that when it is time for you to reform, when you are reforming, when that butterfly is becoming a butterfly through the goo, you are able to go off and fly and succeed and like be beautiful, because you've spent time, well, not being beautiful, I love that, but it's like, it's just science. No. It just is this way. Believe me. Don't even think about it. Just believe me. But really, spend that time there. Like, learn what it has to teach you. Learn what stagnancy means for your body, what it means for your mind, what it means for your soul. Learn what stagnancy is doing for you before you write it off as something that isn't important, or that is lazy or procrastinating or whatever. And that's not to say that those things can't exist in that space, but I think that it's we have a much stronger tendency to label our actions as lazy or unproductive, despite the fact that, or without considering how we were not lazy before, or how it isn't lack of productivity, or it isn't procrastination. And I think that when that rest time is over, when you're able to like move through the period of stagnation, when you're able to move it through your body, through your mind, the answer shows itself. The answer is a part of the learning process. It just comes at the end. It comes at the point when you've figured out all of the steps that have led up to this moment, and then boom, boom, that was bad. Boom, it's right there. It's staring you in the face. It is taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, taking care of your soul, resting, producing, creating. It's all of those things. And if we disregard one aspect, we might as well disregard the entire damn process, because without rest, without creation, without stagnancy, hesitation, gelatinous feelings, we haven't consumed the entire pie. We haven't seen the entirety of our answer. We haven't seen what it takes to get to where we want to go. We don't have any capacity to multiply or retain what we want if we haven't gone through those moments of rest, of self-hatred, of depression, of anxiety, of like trauma, of everything, of happiness, of joy, of friendship, of romantic relationships, of sexual relationships. It doesn't matter. It's just all part of this grand scheme of life. And I really love that this entire conversation has gone from something pretty unformed to something really complete and whole and holistic, and like the answer, right? The answer will come. The answer did come, because to get here, we had to get through this sort of like awkward, fumbly stage of like, I don't really know, what exactly I'm going to go with. I don't script these videos. We're just talking, right? And so by trusting the fact that I'm going to go through some like kind of unformed idea, I'm going to sit into it, I'm going to relate to my own experiences, I'm going to relate to your experiences, I'm going to relate to the world, and then kind of analogize it and shape it, and then come out with this grand scheme of the answer does come, period. I sincerely hope that you allow yourself to be goo, allow yourself to be gelatinous, allow yourself the space and the time to feel anxiety, feel depression, feel your feelings for what they are and what they are trying to show you, what they are trying to lead you towards, because it is part of the answer. And rejecting part of the answer means you will never find the truth of the entire pie, the entire metamorphosizing cycle, okay? Okay. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Bye.